What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jonathan D'Angelo, aka Johnny D. I got Neko Yasha09, your fitness expert, damn dad bod, and Mermaid Moonchild with me, and you are tuned into another episode of the Blerd View. And today, tonight, tomorrow, yesterday, this morning, whenever you are watching this, we are talking about WandaVision. And because we had a break, a hiatus, we're going to give you 2 episode reviews in one, episode 7 and 8. So let's start with episode 7. Who wants to kick that off?
I will say, I told you so.
Danny was right. Danny was right. Danny was right.
About specifically.
It was
you was right about a lot of things, but I want to know what
the biggest thing was good old damn dad bod over here was like, I don't think that could be Agnes.
Oh, if that's the case, I'm gonna go ahead and second you being right and saying I was right too.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't think it could be her. And I'm just like, she faking. And what
the way she
doing?
hit that U-turn, I knew.
She was faking. I just want my bragging rights.
All right. I mean, yeah, I had my doubts for like 2 seconds, but then I was like, nah, because she kind of, like in episode 6, she pulled out of the loop, you know, that the loop that everybody else was in. And it was revealed in episode 8 that the reason why Agnes was even on that side of town is because she herself wanted to see how far Wanda's magic extended. But going back to episode 7. So episode 7 happened right after Wanda extended the parameters of her WandaVision reality. And so we had Darcy.
Immediately after. It took, that's important. It took place the day after because she was still in her costume.
Right. Yeah. So Darcy and half of the sword agents on the ground ended up a part of WandaVision, and they were in a circus, which is
she literally made them
hilarious.
Literally made them clown. Vision was there. Vision ended up there as well because he had tried to escape the WandaVision reality, and it didn't work out so well for him. He met up with Darcy, who he remembered before the Hex parameters expanded, and he took her out of the Hex spell in order to team up with her to get back to Wanda. And we ended up seeing a Modern Family /
it was definitely Modern Family /
Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, that like early 2000s TV sitcom where they like cut to interview the. Yeah, so that was fun. Also, too, after that, Darcy tells Vision everything that happened to him.
Like she gave him the full TLDR.
Yeah, the full rundown on everything that happened to him from Ultron all the way to Endgame.
Yep.
And then,
which was surprising because. How would she know all this? Did she like have like a buddy session with Thor over the
Well, it was still 5 years after.
I know, that's what I'm saying. She must have had like a buddy session with Thor going over everything.
Yeah, somebody gave her inside scoop.
Yeah.
But they might have gave it, they might have did a debrief once she joined the sword operation. I don't know.
Yeah, about,
I doubt it because they couldn't even give her some coffee.
But I mean, even with Wanda, when she went into Sword, everybody just knew who she was. Like nobody was fucking with her. They're like, she's here.
They're like, make her happy.
So it seemed like it was pretty well known, all the specific details of what happened in Endgame and in Infinity War.
Yeah, especially since like the world knows Vision died. They mentioned that in Spider-Man: Far From Home. So the details. However vague, they know he was killed by Thanos. So while Darcy and Vision are trying to get back to Wanda, and Wanda is setting up obvious roadblocks, very comedic sitcom roadblocks.
Was Wanda setting them up?
Oh, you think it might have been Agnes?
I mean, who was behind it all along? That's all I'm saying.
True. It was Agatha all along. Look. The only super villain with a theme song that bumps that hard. Like,
listen, that's a real writer right there.
It is. Because
the
day of that episode, TikTok already had a sound audio of that theme song. I'm just like, this episode isn't even 12 hours old. How?
Yeah.
The only reason I think it might be Agnes versus Wanda has no desire to not be with Vision, but kind of what unfolds in episode 8, which we'll get to a little bit later. You know, Agatha I'm gonna call her Agatha. I'm gonna call her by her government. Agatha, she needed Wanda to try and wake up from the fantasy because she's trying to uncover how Wanda's using her magic. She's not going to wake up from the fantasy if Vision is with her.
Right. True.
Yeah.
True. And so while Vision and Darcy are trying to get back to Wanda, Monica Rambeau tries to break through the hex barrier and does so, keeping her conscious intact, but it transforms her into a superhero.
Also, I told you so. Who doubted? Who? I can't remember. Between the two boys here, one of y'all doubted me about the hex activating / giving her powers. I don't know who it was, but I told you so.
Oh, it wasn't me. Wow! I did not doubt that. I don't know what all this man hate is about today.
I don't know who, but I distinctly remember it was one of y'all two boys doubted me.
Nope.
Nah.
I will go back in the audio.
You can go back.
Yeah, go back.
I will go back later.
You're gonna have to go back on that
one because next week I'll figure it out.
Because Monica Rambeau has been getting her powers for like 3 episodes now.
Fact.
Personally, I think it was Johnny that tried to doubt me, but you know.
Nah, couldn't have been. Couldn't have been. So
after they started talking about her cells being altered, we're like, oh yeah, she's gonna get some powers soon.
All right, Danny. So since you was right, what is her new superhero name gonna be?
I think personally it's gonna be named after her mom. I think it's gonna be Spectrum or Photon, personally, one of those two, because she got real pissed anything named Captain Marvel. So it's definitely not gonna be that. So it's gonna be between Photon or Spectrum.
So now that Monica got her powers, went back to Wanda, tried to talk Wanda down. Wanda wasn't hearing it. Agnes had already taken the boys to babysit for Wanda because Wanda was getting exhausted, having overexerted her powers. Agnes takes Wanda away from Monica and Agatha takes Wanda to her house. And Wanda's looking for the boys. She can't find them. Goes down. Agatha says that they're in her base. The boys are playing in her basement. Wanda goes down to the basement. Ends up in a hex field. Agatha's protection spell field that nullifies Wanda's powers, and it's revealed that it was Agatha all along. She was Agatha Harkness from the comics. She's a supervillain.
And she kills
I don't know if she's a supervillain or an anti-hero. I feel like she's an anti-hero. But I do know that Agatha's point and purpose was to find out how Wanda did it. Wanda created Wanda possesses reality-altering and life-creating magical powers on a whim, and Agatha was about the shits. She wanted to know what was going on, but it turns out that Agatha was the one that created Pietro from X-Men and brought she killed the dog. She has been messing with some of the population, particularly Herb, and like unhexing them and
hexing them in her own way.
Yeah, hexing them in her own way. She used Pietro's double alternate, however you want to call it, to spy on Wanda. She's been trying to figure out how Wanda's been able to do what she does, which leads us to episode 8.
Well, we didn't talk about we didn't talk about some of the stuff that happened in episode 7 that like the commercial. We didn't talk about the episode 7 commercial.
How that one how that freaking pill was just such a good nod for what was gonna happen in the next episode.
Yeah, the Nexus pill. But also one of the things we kind of skimmed past is that the episode starts off and Wanda is glitching all over the place. Like that's the reason Agatha takes the boys, because Wanda's about to break the whole reality down. Like she can't get herself together enough to maintain her magic. And if that happens, again, Agatha can't get what she's actually there to get, which is the secret of how it's all working. So that's what you're asking, like, is she an anti-hero or is she a villain? I'm leaning more towards anti-hero because she really does have the desire to help Wanda realize who she is. it's selfish, but she's not actually trying to hurt Wanda or really break down the hex.
So episode 8. So episode 8 starts off in Agatha's basement, and Wanda is under a binding spell, one of Agatha's binding spells, and Agatha is well, even before that, let's backtrack. So
right, I'm about to say, no, you missed the whole
the whole
beginning.
origin of Agatha. So
the origin of Agatha starts out with Salem. It was 1600 Salem.
1693. 1693.
1693. And Agatha is on trial and tied to a stake, not by witch hunters, but by her own coven, because she unlocked magic that was beyond her age and spectrum. So she was working with very powerful, very dark magic, and she was put on trial by her coven, but the leader of the trial was her own mother.
Well, mother is just a term of endearment in a coven.
Mm-hmm.
But it was her mom. It was her biological mom. It turns out, and which is one of the reasons why Agatha took the brooch. I had to Google it. I was like, what? But
I was like, did somebody tell you?
No, I had to Google it. And actually, that's Agatha's backstory in the comic, actually, is the way they depicted it in episode 8 is actually canon to the comic. But Agatha, she was put on trial for using dark magic. They tried to kill her with magic. Then she absorbed their magic and their life force through their magic, including her mom, killed her whole coven, flew off, and we ended up in present day with Wanda. And she's talking to Wanda, and she's trying to convince Wanda to snap out of her fake reality to explain to Agatha how she was able to create the magic that she created. And we knew Wanda was magic. But we thought all along that Wanda's magic was created from the Mind Stone.
Nope. So, turns out it just activated her Latin ability.
After a long therapy session.
Yeah. So Agatha shows her the Cicadia and how she's able to how all the things that Agatha can do with the Cicadia, and then relates to how Wanda can do it in real life. And then she shows Wanda the door. She releases Wanda from the binding spell, shows Wanda the door as if to go through like a flashback, like how they do on television. They open the door.
/ therapy session.
Mm-hmm. So even though Agatha has been manipulating everything, I still want to give her credit where credit is due. She came up with that therapy session on the fly. Yeah, she was like, what's wrong with you? That's all right. I know what to do. I mean, if she's like 400 years old, she's seen some things. She's done some things. She knows some things.
I personally think Agatha's doing this because I think she's going to help Wanda personally, like actually help her, because she recognizes what Wanda's going through, especially when it comes to because Wanda has so much power. Wanda doesn't know what to do with it. She doesn't want Wanda to go out of control like she could have gone out of control. I think she's just trying to actually help Wanda realize her potential and save her from herself. Because what do we know in any type of media? When someone has too much power, they either explode from it or someone teaches them how to use it.
I feel like, well, first of all, I think that you're probably right. But I also think that she's trying to like take over Wanda's body in some way, shape, or form. Or take her powers from her, like she did with the other witches.
Because she seems like she needs life force to sustain herself.
Yeah.
She might have thought that's what she was going to be able to do until the end of episode 8, when she's like, nah, you really got a lot going on. You contained.
I think she would have let go of her kids if that was the case. But she's like, I don't want to fuck with this.
But as soon as she figured out it was chaos magic, she was just like, oh, you're a Scarlet Witch. She kind of was like,
I think she knows she's not gonna be able to suck the life force out of her too easily.
Yeah, she said she was the Scarlet Witch. I was like, not just one, just like it.
But let's get back to that. So the therapy session starts with Wanda as a child in her Sokovian home, and the reason why she's so fascinated with sitcoms is because her dad used to sell he said her dad used to bring home sitcoms. Oh, like I Love Lucy.
Yeah, that
Big
was his
Van Dyke.
trade.
Well, he was selling them on the streets, but when they couldn't sell them, they had movie night because they were trying to learn English.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I thought was cool in that scene with the learning English, they were like, oh, we're just going to watch some shenanigans. And her brother was like, what shenanigans again? And her mom was like, oh, it's mischief. Like, but mischief that ends well. And I thought that was just like a cute little nod to Loki because he forgot.
Because that's coming up real soon.
That was a very specific word to describe shenanigans when that's really not the best definition of shenanigans. But Marvel doing what Marvel does.
And so after we realized the origin of the sitcoms, and that's very telling because in real life, overseas, when soldiers go overseas, like they try and like the locals. They will sell us like our own DVDs back. Like they'll have like The Office, The Wire, and like you can buy them overseas. I know in Afghanistan that was a really big trade, was selling like DVDs and stuff because once we ran out of shows on our hard drive, we didn't really have Amazon like that to get shows out. So I thought that was an interesting nod. And when the mother looks out the window, it's very war torn. They were shooting just outside the building they were in, but they were trying to make their home as cozy and comfortable as possible. And so they sit down and watch the Dick Van Dyke episode about the walnuts, and then their house blows up, like just boom. And their parents are dead. Pietro and her are alive, and the Stark missile lands. And the Stark missile that blew their house, that crashed into their house, it didn't blow up. And that's when Agnes is like, okay, well, you use the probability spell. Yeah, probability magic to stop the bomb from going off. And Wanda was like, no, it just happened to not go off. But in the comic, Wanda actually does have probability magic.
Mm-hmm.
Which she probably did use probability magic, she just didn't know.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It was that Latin ability that she didn't know.
Which makes sense because Tony Stark doesn't fuck up his tech.
Right, like his tech worked.
That never made sense.
Okay.
Yeah, like that never made sense. They're like, oh, the bomb just didn't go off. It's like, who made this? Tony Stark.
It's like, listen, Tony Stark does not make that kind of mistakes.
And the irony of that is, going back to the toaster in episode 1, the toaster had the same red beep and the same like beep pattern that bomb did. And that bomb, that part of WandaVision and that part of Wanda's life actually predates Iron Man 1. Because remember, Obadiah Stane was selling Stark weapons to terrorists to double dip in the war effort. Because they were selling Tony Stark was selling them to the government, Obadiah Stane was selling them to the terrorists. So it was a great Iron Man nod to come full circle back to the beginning of the MCU. And then after the bomb, they went to Hydra. Shout out to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was Mermaid Moonchild's favorite part, I'm sure.
But you could really see the trauma start to really like come out at that scene because Wanda did not want to relive that. And I don't blame her. Like that had to be so traumatic to like be a literal human testing.
Guinea pig, yeah.
And Agnes, in true Agnes fashion, was just like, I mean, you already went through it, girl. Come on, let's go.
yeah.
And I'm like, girl.
But it's almost like what Pietro said to her about Vision that time. She was like, it's not like your dead husband can die again. So
right.
That's clearly her. She's trying to push her through all this trauma with you've already done it.
Right. And it's just it's like, damn girl, you're not even a real psychologist, but that's what they really be doing.
Like, but that was
and the questioning of the logic that Agatha had. She's like, wait a minute, so you and your family got blown up, right? She's like, yeah. So you decide to join the people who are probably responsible for it? We were trying to change the world. Shut up. Like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, you join an anti-freedom terrorist group? We're trying to change the world. Okay. But it was that scene, I think, was one of the most important scenes in the MCU to this iteration of the MCU, because Wanda's in the chamber. They want her to react with the Loki scepter, which has the Mind Stone in it. She walks up to the scepter. The stone detaches telekinetically from the scepter it unravels itself as the Mind Stone. Wanda sees a vision of her future self in the stone and then collapses. But on camera, there's nothing there.
It was just
You mean like she interrupted the broadcast and only showed what she wanted to show?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she goes back to her room. She's watching the Brady Bunch. She ends up turning off the TV. The doll that's in the TV on the Brady Bunch is actually the same doll Vision was trying to use to practice changing diapers with.
Yep.
In the second or third episode, that's a loop back. So after they go through the Hydra ordeal, they end up with it's pre-Civil War, post-Ultron, where Wanda first really bonds with Vision after Pietro's death at the hands of Ultron, and Vision is like creeping through the walls, and they sit down.
Summoned him.
Yeah,
and he didn't know how to because he's still learning how the world works, so he was like phasing through walls because in whatever movie it was where she got real upset that he just phased through the wall. She's like, you can't do that. He's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, Civil War.
Yeah.
So she sat Vision down and they were talking about, she tried to teach him sitcoms, and I think they were watching Malcolm in the Middle, right?
Yeah, it was Malcolm in the Middle.
And she was trying to explain comedy to him because, Jarvis was never funny and he doesn't understand comedy. But, she was talking about the grief. She was talking about the grief of her brother. And, Vision said very, very profoundly, as only Vision would. He said, what is grief but love persevering?
And that line resonated.
That was beautiful.
I cried at that point right there because that is the fucking truth.
Yeah.
And so Agatha is still like, no, I need a little bit more. So she brings Wanda to Vision's death, post Endgame, like literally right after Endgame. And she said, Wanda went to S.W.O.R.D., which I don't know how. So we need a breakdown of S.W.O.R.D. because somehow Wanda knew where S.W.O.R.D. was, and S.W.O.R.D. wasn't a thing until right now. So until Spider-Man 3, S.W.O.R.D. wasn't even a thing. So I really need a breakdown of S.W.O.R.D.
It's a secret yet not so secret organization,
right? Because
I'll just go out on a limb and say she's a magical witch, so she might have just
figured it out.
She sensed it. She knew.
She might have Googled it. She might have put a trap on somebody.
But which begs the question. Okay, so if the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not a thing anymore, then Falcon and Winter Soldier, are they working for S.W.O.R.D., S.H.I.E.L.D.? We'll
find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out in 3 weeks.
Wanda goes to S.W.O.R.D. and sees Haywood, and Haywood shows her Vision. She goes to Vision's body. She breaks the glass, goes to Vision's body, because Haywood is like, well, we have to destroy him. And she's like, well, I'm his next of kin. I just want to bury him. He's like, I can't let you bury $3 billion worth of vibranium.
It's like, yes, you can. Look at Wakanda.
Right. So, Haywood wants to bring Vision back online, and we can tell because Vision is actually on when Wanda goes into the laboratory. All his circuits are moving. He's just not online. So when Wanda goes down and touches Vision, she's like, I can't feel you anymore. She leaves. She never took Vision.
Yep. Haywood lied. Yeah. He bold-faced lied to Monica's face.
Yeah, Haywood is full of shit.
So how did he create the footage is what I want to know.
Right. Right.
Does he have a shapeshifter on his team? I got questions.
Yeah. Good point. So after that, Wanda goes into her car, which is wild because she can fly, but she goes into her car, which is the same color.
I said the same thing.
Okay, listen.
Like, you can fly. What are you doing?
Listen, driving is
She needed that drive, okay? She needed to let the wind flow in her hair. She was stressed.
I mean, she could whole fly.
She had just seen the love of her life literally being cut into
even
pieces.
if I could fly, there's just something therapeutic about going on a long car drive,
But I feel like flying would be like more peaceful.
Yeah,
there's no traffic.
For the car. Bugs flying in your face.
A bug might hit her.
Yes, Thank you.
I guess.
Thank you.
The car was the same color as her costume, which I found funny. I was like, that's hilarious.
Listen, she's got to keep with the theme,
well,
sweetie.
you have to think about it. She came with the intention of getting his body, so she needed a
True.
Because I think it'd be weird just magically like making his
flying
body
around
float.
with a body.
Listen. You're right. I'm too used to DC comics.
That'd be so uncouth. Okay.
So,
but I mean, it's not like Wanda didn't open a door with her magic instead of just waiting for them to open the door for her.
Listen,
we can't act like Wanda's not extra.
Listen, Wanda was being polite. She knew she could have just waltzed in there, but she was being polite. Okay.
True.
Because she knew they couldn't do shit to her.
So she has a letter on the driver's seat, it shows, and she drives to this location in Westview, New Jersey. Vision had bought a house for them, and the house wasn't in construction. It looked like it was either torn down or it had started being built.
Property.
Yeah, he bought property. And the point of the property was for them to grow old together after they sorted everything out after Civil War and in Infinity War. Well, it didn't work out that way. Vision probably bought that property either before or after Civil War. It had to be after.
I think probably maybe a few months before Infinity War started, I'm thinking.
Yeah. And so, they weren't able to capitalize on that. Unfortunately, that's when Wanda lost it and she created the Hex and WandaVision.
So
let's back up a scene or two, because I think it was really cool watching her drive into Westview and seeing all the characters as their natural, who they really are. Like, Herb really didn't look like that nice, friendly guy that we've been. Herb is under a super spell. The mailman was just a pizza delivery guy. He got sucked into a whole new profession.
None of them looked happy doing anything. They were all very miserable. And so question, and this is about Vision. So Vision is a computer, yes? And Vision was created by Ultron, right?
Yes.
So how does Vision have money to buy a house now? Like, why does he need money, and how does he have it to buy a house in his name? But in his name, like, does he have a social security number now to like purchase property? Is he a computer?
Jarvis had access to all of Tony's assets.
Yeah.
So he could have just stole money from Tony. Not even really stole, but he
probably even asked Tony,
Yeah.
Tony probably helped him set that whole thing up. It was supposed to be a cute little surprise, and then Tony died and Vision died.
Because remember, Vision used to be Jarvis in Ultron. Vision is Jarvis in Ultron's body. So made by Tony Stark. Which goes back to when Haywood was talking to Wanda about Vision. He was like, well, it's our property. No, it's not. That's Stark Industries. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's Stark Industries all over it. Like, but, I think he probably got it from Tony. Tony felt bad about what happened at the end of Civil War. He said that. He didn't like Bucky regardless of the outcome, but he felt bad about what happened to the rest of the team. Maybe he helped Vision and Wanda go into hiding. Also, but in that moment that Wanda realized that he was trying to build a happily ever after for them and she lost it, she not only created the Westview that we saw in WandaVision, but she recreated Vision. And when she recreated Vision, she recreated him using Mind Stone energy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the significant part. She recreated him using Mind Stone energy.
It's literally why they're connected. The Mind Stone unlocked her potential. The Mind Stone made him. The Mind Stone is what connection they had with each other.
But remember, the Infinity Stones don't exist anymore. So it begs the question, did Wanda recreate the Mind Stone?
It's possible.
To recreate Vision.
She has the power of creation, so it is very possible.
So now the question, are we going to see the Infinity Stones again? But
maybe.
Yeah. So Wanda recreated Vision, which means that Wanda also created her children. Obviously, we knew that. But now we know that she literally thin-aired these children. She was just like, all right, uterus.
I mean, no matter what, she had to thin-air the children, because I don't know about you, but circuits and actual uterus, like that's not how genetics work. So by default, she had to have magic those kids.
What do you mean Ghost in the Shell is just an anime? Wait, no, yeah, I definitely agree. But it begs the question. Now, when Vision of WandaVision tried to leave the Hex, he was deteriorating, probably because he was tied to that magic. Mm-hmm. Now, what will happen? Like, will the same thing happen to the kids?
That's a very good question.
Mm.
Things
That-
yet to be seen.
Because when
Find out
Wanda,
next week.
yeah, because when everything was revealed, Agatha, had the kids by a magical chokehold, and Wanda was like, "Let my kids go," and Agnes was like, "Look, first of all, you're using chaos magic. You're like a unicorn. You're you're something that people didn't think existed. You're the Scarlet Witch, which is the first time in MCU history that they've actually used that name for Wanda."
Got her name.
So at this point, Agatha is on the fence because Agatha wanted to know what Wanda was doing, and now she's kind of scared of Wanda. Because Wanda has reality-altering, life-creating powers. But how far does this go? Are the children real? Are they not? Are they going to dissipate when Wanda finally lets this all go? And where is Monica Rambeau?
Yeah, where is Monica?
Right.
Where is Rambeau?
After Snooper's gonna snoop.
What did Pietro do with her?
Agnes is hilarious. Pietro, if I would. Like, she's a whole fool.
Pietro. Yeah, what happened with those two? And like, is Pietro a threat? Because
What
he's a puppet.
was Vision doing this whole time too? I want to know what was Vision do.
Yeah, and why is it taking Vision so long to get there? And let's not forget too that now we
Vision
have
is
White
with Darcy.
Vision.
Wait, where's Vision and Darcy?
Well,
Right.
Darcy's still
at that
Vision
stoplight.
Vision took
still
off.
the truck.
Vision took off.
Vision
You
took
right.
off. Yeah, she's in the truck.
She's still
So
at that
she's just stuck
stoplight.
in Westview, awake. It's like, damn,
Right.
we ever gonna finish construction right here?
But we also now have White Vision because at the cutscene, Haywood at the mid-credit cutscene, Haywood activated White Vision using the residual magic off of the Star.
Oh, yeah. Like,
so White Vision is comic canon. When Vision got busted up real bad in a fight, the Avengers resurrected him. But because they didn't have Mr. Wonder to fuse Mr. Wonder's personality with Vision. Vision ended up just a shell, just a regular robot shell until they could do something about it. So now we have
why that scene where he was all cut up on the table hurt me so much, because that exactly is what happened in the comics. Like, he was just on all the tables, like just sprawled out circuits everywhere, and I'm just like, my heart cannot handle this.
So now we have Vision. Now we have two Visions. One created through WandaVision and White Vision. And the question is, are they going to destroy White? Is it going to be Agatha, Monica, and Wanda versus White Vision? And what do we do with the two visions? Are they going to fuse together?
They become double vision.
I
had to slip one in there. One in.
Yeah, you did that.
Get out.
You had to get out. Get out.
At least you can't make a 2020 joke, so.
Yeah, damn, oh my god.
Damn.
Oh no.
Damn. They should have brought it out in 2020.
No. So
it was hindsight, it's fine.
But so what do you guys think though? You think
I'm about to log out. I'm out now.
The hindsight is 2020.
Oh my god.
Ah, Lord.
Oh my god.
You're welcome.
No.
Thank you
No.
for that, Danny. That made my my day so far.
I'm sorry.
Hey, yeah.
I'm sorry, that was punishable. My bad.
Wow, really? You couldn't. Wow, really?
Danny, they didn't see it coming.
Oh, no.
Hey, I'm done.
Okay.
I swear, I'm done.
All right. We're good.
You sure?
Everybody reset.
I'm sorry.
Like
none of us,
We gotta do it like WandaVision. Everybody just did it.
Did we not see that coming?
Yeah.
That's a double one, okay?
Wait, nah,
that's what Pietro said.
Said that. You said that already, though. It doesn't count. You can't say it twice. You can't say it twice in different contexts.
You guys are leading me to drink.
So, what do you guys think will happen to Vision, though? Do you think we'll get Vision back?
I feel like they might do the cliche, we're gonna merge.
Yeah. They should merge.
You guys think they're gonna merge Vision? What if they just
destroyed
White Vision?
Into double vision. It's okay, you can say it.
No. Not saying. What if they destroy White Vision and then got rid of Wanda's vision and she just went off with Agnes?
Vision.
I feel like that.
No more Vision, period.
No more Vision, yeah.
We going in blind?
So But if Wanda's magic stops, right, and everything goes back to normal, are they gonna forget everything that happened, or does everything stay residual and like how Monica Rambeau has her powers now? Like, what she would keep her powers, right? Like, so if they make another vision, so if they merge the visions, he should stay as whatever vision that had the memories that Wanda made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, okay, so here's the crazy thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Monica, every time Monica went into the hex, went in and out of the barrier, she changed on a molecular level, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to change.
Doesn't that same theory apply to everybody that's in WandaVision?
Maybe.
But they haven't gone in and out.
Right.
They didn't go in. They just were in it.
Yeah, like
no, because remember when the hex started, it expanded and hit everyone in the town. So that's one genetic transformation. When the hex ends, it might create two, or it might just disperse. But there's at least one genetic modification in everybody in Westview. Monica went through three because she went through 3 times. But Monica went through 3 times and gained superpowers after 3 times. So 1 time is probably enough to activate something. A 3rd time is enough to have it. So
that's a 3rd time's a charm. Go.
Shut up. Anyway, or hear me out. Maybe this is how we finally get the mutants in the MCU.
Yeah, she might have made a bunch of mutants on accident.
Because, like, just like her, like, where her power, she had the ability. It needed a spark to fully activate it. What if she's the key to bring anyone that had mutant?
So yeah, that's what I was getting at, is that maybe she ends up inadvertently making the mutant gene, and we get mutants. Maybe not this phase, but maybe in the next 3 Marvel phases, we get mutants because she ends up creating them on accident.
Because she is confirmed. Her and Pietro, and obviously the twin, her children, are the first 4 confirmed mutants now in the MCU.
Well, technically, Agatha's a mutant as well. She's
a witch. There's a difference.
She is a learned, studied witch. That's what she said. I spent so much time studying and getting all this stuff together, and you just went to sleep.
Magic is a whole other thing.
But she still had like latent abilities and stuff, because when the other witches tried to zap her and kill her, she just it didn't look like she did it on purpose. It didn't look like she did it on purpose at first.
It was the magic. She was seeking power, and it went out of control.
She definitely did that on purpose. She was trying to give them a chance to do right, and then she was like, "Well, if y'all think y'all gonna kill me, I'm gonna have to just tap into this dark magic real quick."
Yeah, because magic.
But that's the thing. Another thing too, though, is remember, like, Strucker called Wanda and Pietro gifted, right?
Well, that's because they couldn't use the word mutants back then.
Right. Gifted is also the title of the X-Men TV show that came on not too long ago. Fun fact, on Fox. But all that takes place, that the TV show takes place after Days of Future Past, during the events of Days of Future Past. But Wanda and Pietro, if they are indeed mutants, then I feel like Wanda's hex might activate any other, because remember, up until a certain point it was only Inhumans. Right. So, and we also thought that up until a certain point Wanda and Pietro got their powers from the Mind Stone. So now that we know that that's not the case and they were mutants all along, it begs the question, what's going to happen with the Inhumans, and what's going to happen with people, like who's going to pop up with latent mutant abilities? And matter of fact, that also gives another layer to this. Is Monica Rambeau low-key a mutant, and Wanda's hex field activated her mutant abilities?
I think she's a mutant, honestly, because they're trying to bring. Because I feel like the MCU is finally, now they've got the rights to X-Men, they're trying to bring in mutants. So I think she's personally a mutant, because they couldn't do mutants before because of the way the rights were.
So the story was there for her to technically be a mutant.
Mm-hmm.
So Monica, Pietro, and Wanda could all actually be mutants. And so anybody else coming out of Westview might also be hell, Darcy might pop up with some powers because she went through the hex. So this is actually a very interesting play because they might actually use WandaVision to introduce X-Men.
Honestly,
Now,
I thought this from the get-go. This is how the X-Men were going to get introduced, was because of Wanda. And if it comes true, I'm going to be like, I called this years ago.
And even though Pietro was Pietro, he's still technically an X-Men.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What were you saying, TJ?
No, I started thinking like, so everybody who gained some sort of powers in the MCU so far, whether it be Monica or all the way to Captain America, there had to be like something super special with them for them to attain those powers that they got. Even with Black Panther, they had to give him the plant in order for him to get the powers. So maybe that's something that they're gonna lean more towards, because they still haven't shown how Spider-Man got his powers in the first place.
Yeah,
they were just like, here's Spider-Man.
Honestly, I think it's okay. So I personally think they never showed it because we all freaking know the origin of Spider-Man.
It's Peter fucking Parker.
They did not want to do it a third time. Like,
I mean, that's probably how it started off originally, but now they can go into any kind of origin story they want, because they're like 5-6 movies deep with Spider-Man in it.
But like Spidey, he was
he is Spider-Man. It kind of, we need to kind of stick to the Spider origin story,
because he was like a
why is he
self-made
Spider-Man?
mutant.
Why isn't he
like
Potato
he was always
Man?
he was always a self-made mutant. So.
I mean, I'm too invested to just leave now. They're gonna be like, oh, he's Spider-Man because he's a mutant. I'm gonna be like, well, all right.
But yeah, I think it's just the reason why they haven't deep dived into Peter's origin story is simply because who gives
Everybody
a fuck?
knows it. We had how many movies, how many cartoon shows?
Yeah, we
all
did it.
Yeah, that's my bad. I made this about Spider-Man. All right, back to Wanda. My bad, guys.
So is the theory that we get one more episode or 2 more episodes?
So two more. They confirmed that there's an episode 10.
Goodness.
So we got 2 more weeks of WandaVision, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier come out right after that. So
any predictions on who the big reveal is gonna be?
So okay, I'm glad we brought this up because I was talking about this with my coworker last week. So because they keep claiming this is supposed to be like a Luke Skywalker big kind of reveal, I'm thinking it's gonna be like maybe one of the 2 actors that probably played Magneto, possibly, or Professor X.
Yeah.
But my own personal want is Hugh Jackman, personally.
I was thinking
it would make no
like
sense, but because Hugh Jackman said years ago whenever they first started filming Logan, he's like, the only way he would reprise his role for Logan is if somehow he could be part of the Avengers. And since this is very like, House of M style, and Wolverine had a big part with like House of M, I was like, this is a big stretch because I don't know how they would put in Wolverine for this, but if it's Wolverine, I'll be a very happy lady.
And truth be told, they could actually not have Magneto be Wanda and Pietro's dad and still have the X-Men storyline, and they could even still do the X-Men storyline in the backdrop. And the way they could do it is they could just, in a new X-Men movie, recap all the events of the MCU and how they handled it in like a 10-15 minute recap. Or they could mute, or be like, there was a theory that because Hulk did the snap, it possibly created mutants. Because of all that cosmic energy being re-released on Earth for a second time.
Right, so, and that could release latent ability in people because that's just a whole cosmic event.
Which would be the 3rd time it happened, because the first snap, the second snap to destroy the stones, and the 3rd snap
to bring everyone back.
To bring everybody back. Oh, well, 4, because Tony did it right after, like 3 minutes after.
Yeah. Well,
at this point,
the snap to destroy the stones take place on Earth. But yeah, there was 3 snaps on Earth
throughout the universe. So
yeah, so there's we got theories, we got ideas. Especially since the Mind Stone is what pushed Wanda's powers to the forefront, and so we'll see. I hope that they introduce Monica and Wanda as mutants and
Same.
run with that.
We didn't get to talk about how Monica was fighting against Wanda briefly.
Oh, I was like, whoop her ass.
Yo, when her
Monica
powers
whooped
started
her ass.
forming and Wanda was just why does she have powers? I was like, yo.
That's gonna be next week's episode is probably gonna be the fight scene, and that shit's gonna be lit. It's gonna be
Oh,
well, they don't need to fight at this point. At this point, they just need to come together. Monica's on Wanda's side, and if Wanda and Agnes are slightly beefing right now, I think that Monica's gonna take Wanda's side, and they're gonna have to fight together.
I think it'll be Monica and Wanda versus Agnes until White Vision shows up, and then it'll be Wanda's Vision, Wanda, Agatha, and Monica versus White Vision.
I wonder who's gonna voice White Vision. I wonder if it's actually gonna be the same voice as Vision, or will it have Ultron's voice?
Because they said that.
Well, they've been having Ultron in here. Yeah,
the voice actor
underlying the whole time.
That's like
the voice actor for Ultron is cast in WandaVision, so maybe it's gonna be Ultron.
White Vision. Yeah, maybe
that's
White Vision.
Triggering AF. Do you really want to have Ultron's voice come through? Because I'm telling you now, Wanda is going to lose it.
All the more reason to fight him, though, right?
Especially since she ain't like Ultron before.
Yeah, all the more reason to fight him. So, but all right, we're gonna get out of here.
Wait, I got one more point to bring up because none of us brought it up. How every episode had a sitcom feel, and as revealed in this episode, Wanda's safe space was watching sitcoms to get through her grief, and it made so much sense more now why every episode had a sitcom feel. It was her little safe space of being able to have things to control, because how many times have we watched any type of sitcom when we just feel down, depressed, because we know what's going to happen? It just makes us feel okay, even though we're not verbally laughing, we're just stoic, but we feel calm watching it. I really appreciated that fact that every scene was her watching the season, that each episode correlated with whatever sitcom she was watching. I really love that.
True story. But all right, so we're gonna get out of here. It's your boy Jonathan D'Angelo, aka Johnny D, Neko Yasha 09, Damn Dad Bod, Mermaid Moonchild. You guys comment. If you guys are rocking with us the whole time, thank you. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment below what you guys' theories are for the last 2 episodes of WandaVision. I want the reveal to be either Magneto, Professor X, or Phil Coulson. But you guys tell us down below who you guys want the big reveal to be. Probably gonna come up in episode 10. Otherwise, you guys can check out our old Wanda reviews up top, and you guys can check out any other Blerd View episodes on our page or down below if you're already on the page. And we are out of here. Thank you.
Bye.
We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Therapy brings out your true power.